Hello and welcome back to the Swan Pricing Show. My name is Philip Vucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I'm Philip Zolota, business mentor.
We want to talk. Um, we want to talk about not being too nice to clients today, right? So I think it was called combatively collaborative. It's a wordy way of saying that you can be too nice because, well, not all clients, but many see people being too nice to them as people being afraid of them taking the money away.
Mhm.
And that's definitely a sign that you don't think there's any other reason for them to pay you, right? So if I'm very nice to you, then you're going to give me money. That this is not about charity, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not saying you should go Dr. House mode, tomorrow. But mm, people say, being nice is just cost of being a collaborative service provider. Being too collaborative is also a cost, right? You had a good distinction. You had a good example of this, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would be the cost of being too nice?
The cost would be that you, as the expert, if you decide to go down the route of saying okay or yes, while in the same time you know that the decision being made is wrong or similar, that can be very detrimental for the relationship and cooperation. I have one very cool experience. I have a ton of similar and lookalike situations, but one which came to my mind immediately when we decided to go down the route of this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One brand came specifically in Croatia, and we were helping and supporting them in various fields, marketing, business consulting, and everything else. Point was that we've created for them entire roadmap in terms of employment, recruitment, and everything, and they simply weren't following the guidelines. So it happened that the decision maker and the owner in one moment stood and said, "Oh, we have a problem. What we should do now, and try to transfer the accountability to us in some way."
Mm-hmm.
And simply due to us having enough experience and well documented stuff and everything, and being pretty much straightforward, almost Kroger style, we just emphasize the facts. We put all those key elements into the roadmap, but you still, opposite of our advice, decided to go down this route. So decision is still yours. We already advised to do something else, and now you are feeling and seeing the consequences of your bad decisions. But let's put that aside. Let's focus on how we can save the moment. Point is, as you mentioned, being collaborative, absolutely. But sometimes, very often, you as the expert, by default, you need to save your objectivity. And in the end, you are being paid for your knowledge, experience, expertise. So you need to hold your ground and be very vocal about the stuff which can go or pass through, which are okay, compared to those which could potentially be harmful for the engagement and for the future of the project. That is definitely a reason why many companies, no matter they're the experts in the field, are trying to be overly nice and simply raise the flag in the eyes of the client. Oh, okay, they're agreeing with us on every aspect. We probably don't need them.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I saw that numerous times.
Mm. Because
So,
this is a big swan duck difference, right?
exactly.
When they hire a service, which is which we call a duck case on this show, which is a well generic service, anybody can do it. They basically hire you to keep things smooth. When they hire an expert, they don't want things to be smooth. They want a change, and what they hire you because without you, that change might not be survivable. right? They
Yeah.
want you to dull the pain of change, which is not the same as saying, you shouldn't cause any headaches for your client. Yeah, that's true when you wash their car.
Yeah.
That's true when you're a bank teller. That's not true when you're a doctor. That's not true when you're an accountant. It's really not, right? Um, our job, Swan's job, is to shield the client from unnecessary headaches, not all headaches,
Yeah.
right? They should expect us to cause a headache, but it's going to be worth it. So even a major one. So
Hmm.
each one we cause, we have to know why, and it has to turn out to be the better way all along. But it's not to shield them from all headaches at all times. Their convenience is, I think, secondary to the result.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, they hired a buddy who will tell them everything is going to be okay and hold their hand while impending doom happens. And that's not an expert's job, right?
Yeah.
That's not an expert job. This is a big swan duck difference. So one of them is basically to maintain the status quo with minimum friction. The other is to change the status quo with minimum friction, but just like any other form of worthwhile communication, so not small talk, real collaboration isn't frictionless, cannot be frictionless, because if it's frictionless, there was no problem to begin with, and then you shouldn't have hired a client anyway, right? So if there's a real problem, there's going to be friction,
Yeah.
and it's our job to manage this, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So designed structured friction is the point of many of the tasks that they need us for. Not maybe all of them. You should probably let something slide or just mentioning, okay, I'm letting this one slide. Let's put a pin in this. We'll come back to it. It's not that important. This is not about being, inflexible. But being flexible to the point of being ineffective, I think, is simply a worse way of doing a Swan type service, right?
Yeah.
So do you have an example of a headache that was worth it?
Absolutely. There are numerous cases.
But I was
In,
guessing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
especially
would
in the
guess so.
expertise
Hmm.
world, for us, in one of our roles, I cannot say the primary, it's sub consequences of all the actions and transformation in the business, because we are there, as you mentioned, to make significant change. The headaches are a daily routine, especially when you are making relevant change and transformation, because quite often you are making entire paradigm shift.
Yes.
And that is something what demands not only time, money, effort, but significant change in terms of operations and everything else. The more and deeper impact is and change, more headaches will arise and arrive in the scenario. So it's normal stuff. And as I said, people shouldn't be trying to fight back or run away from overall confrontation, because it is a positive one.
Yeah.
You actually want to help, support, and serve your client. Their result is your result, and when you achieve it, you both will be happy. And it is also going in parallel and fully being in essence what the expert and trusted advisor by default is: a
Hmm.
person, an individual, or a group of people actually helping and supporting their peers, colleagues, clients, and that's it. And in the end, that is a foundation for longevity and long-term collaboration, partnership, and quite often friendship.
Yes. Yes. Um, it can develop that way as well. But
Absolutely.
with friends are people who are frank with you. So I was talking to a dentist client today,
Hmm.
and we talked about a campaign where we would lean on the fact that if there's something visually wrong with you, everybody can see it. Not everybody. So you have a booger hanging, or your shirt is unbuttoned, or something. People who don't care about you won't step forward and tell this to you
Yeah,
because they don't care. And it's uncomfortable to do so, so they're not going to spend this energy to do it. So, at least in Croatia, when you see somebody walking around with like a piece of spinach in their mouth, in their teeth, for the whole day, the folk saying is that that person has no friends, right? Because if somebody would have stepped up and
yeah,
said, so this is uncomfortable, but you don't see this, but this is happening to you, right?
yeah.
You reminded me of this when you said friend. So being overly friendly is not the same thing as being a friend to somebody.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, so it's also about two more things, I would say. So saying the true thing, it's one thing to do it early, the other is to say it as a consolation, or
Yeah,
we made a campaign. I didn't tell you that, your idea baby is ugly, and now it failed. And I said, well, yeah, it wasn't really the greatest idea because of this, this, and that. Thanks. It's a very It's a very good postmortem. But if you knew that before, you should have said that before. And people don't do that. And I think we touched upon this in an earlier episode when we talked about the biggest advantage of being paid in advance, apart from being sure that you're going to get paid, is that you now have the the fuel, the
yeah,
bravery to say something that needs to be said
yeah,
early while it's still time, while it's not going to jeopardize the whole value because you're afraid if you make them mad that they will not pay you,
yeah,
right? And this is why David C. Baker says, an expert should be paid early so he will allow himself to make the client as mad as they need to be to actually achieve the transformation and not pull back because we're human as well, right?
exactly.
We got bills to pay. So, do you have an example of a decision like that that probably should have been made before, but it was made after, or costly
Yeah.
silence?
Yeah. I stumble upon that type of situations, especially when doing the mentorship and consultancy work, and you're
Oh
already
yeah,
working with individuals or separate teams jointly working on specific projects. Some of them are pretty much straightforward; they want to resolve stuff immediately, and some of them are just trying to save their client because he is like that. I actually don't care. We need to do this. What needs to be done when? Now or earlier. And that's it. You need to resolve all the potential pain points, challenges before you even start. Because in the end, it's about managing the expectations. As you said, if you put it somewhere down the road when everything ended, meaningless. You
yeah,
cannot do anything with it. It's just the information,
yeah.
which came way, way too late.
Yes, I agree. Um, I think we finished off an earlier episode, but that might have been a year ago. With
Mhm.
if you never say no, what is your yes actually worth, right?
Mhm.
If everything's a yes. So just to recap, um, don't go full Dr. House mode immediately, but um, we are here as experts to manage transformation, and nothing can be truly transformed, meaningfully transformed without friction. So we shouldn't shy away from friction because then we're just, talking about the weather to the client
Yeah.
in many different ways. So we're not really making a difference. They need us not to shield them from all headaches, but to shield them from unnecessary headaches and to make the headaches that have to happen survivable. We talked about the edge last time. What we know, what we can show them, what we can steer them away from is a force multiplier. It reduces the amount of total energy on the project. But sometimes you have to tell them that they're wrong. Sometimes you have to tell them that their idea baby is ugly, and you need to do that early in order to actually provide the value that you can provide. It's not just about the advice, it's also when you say it and how you say it and how much you emphasize. And yeah, one of my mentees recently had a moment where they flat out said to the client, "No,
Mm-hmm.
we shouldn't do it like that. These are the reasons. I simply completely disagree with this. Let's do this instead because this, and that." And he was basically shocked hearing that coming out of his mouth, but he was glad he did it, and the client was glad he did it. And yes, you can't do that to all clients, but I think it's detrimental to everybody if you have to take on a client that simply requires a yes person.
Absolutely.
I
It's
remember,
met.
so
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I remember from my corporate days some meetings where my main job was not to draw attention to myself. Just come
Mm-hmm.
there and smile and nod, and whatever you do, don't draw attention to yourself because they're looking for a scapegoat, and anybody will do. So, just blend in with the herd and wait for somebody else to make a mistake. And I hate it, and I never want to do it again in my life. Confrontation is 17 times easier than that, at least for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that because I am pretty much lookalike. And one thing this reminded me of to mention, especially for the experts and expertise-based world, when you are already deciding to enter specific engagement with the client, one important ingredient is if that other side is actually being teachable. If
Yeah,
so, good to go. Other way around, you'll be having this very strong headaches. Yeah.
all the time. Yeah. So, anything else to add?
Not at this point.
Where can people find you, Philip?
People can find me on LinkedIn and also on my mentorship page, philipzalata.com.
So it's fearless-pricing.com for me and LinkedIn as well. Thanks for today and see you next time on the SWAN Pricing Show.
Sure.